The way to truly be interested in someone and truly learn about them and to be able to ask every question under the sun without feeling pressure is to detach yourself from any outcome. Much easier said than done. Not being outcome-based means I do not have any intention of taking this in any direction other than where the truth will take us. I don't hear good news. I don't hear bad news. I only hear information, and I can remain curious without being emotional. Hey, you're working with a competitor. What'd they say? Well, if you're in sales and you're outcome-based, you're thinking, oh my gosh, why would I bring in competition? That's not smart. And I would completely disagree. I think that's one of the wisest things you can do. Why? Because they're going to get there anyway. You might as well be part of that conversation. And it's quite likely they did talk to the competitor, and it might not have gone very well. And wouldn't it be great to learn that and let them say that out loud to only reinforce their need to make a change? It's a good conversation. But it's hard to have that conversation if you're outcome-based. Not being outcome-based is tied closely with controlling our emotions. When we get emotional, our IQ drops. We listen less effectively. I was sitting at the kitchen table one day, and it was one of our sons. They were in high school, and one of his friends was sitting at the table. And he just started opening up to me. He goes, yeah, I bombed my algebra test this week. And I'm like, man, that's too bad. I'm like, what happened? Oh, he tells me, I didn't study. I didn't study for it, and I should have studied, and, but yeah. And I go, well, what can you do now? And he goes, well, I got to go back and I got to retake it, otherwise I can't have an F on my report card. And I go, well, you can do anything differently? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to study this time, and so I got to go take it. And I found myself having this very nice conversation with this young man, and he's being very honest with me, and I'm being very calm and rational and curious, and he's actually got it all figured out. I was just asking a couple questions, and it was a good relationship and a good conversation. And my epiphany was this: if that was my son, hey, Dad, I failed my algebra test this week. What? You failed your test? Didn't you study? I told you, blah, 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 blah. And I realized I'm a terrible parent. I need to stay emotionally detached with my own children. That's very hard to do. I have a stake in the outcome. I have a vested interest in their success. But I realize that actually hinders my ability to be curious, build a relationship, and they probably already feel pretty bad. They already know why they missed it and screwed it up, and they have to go correct it. Sometimes that's the best lesson learned than a lecture, telling, and getting loud. And I just learned that. And so being emotionally detached, it is harder to do. Especially when it's with your team, if you care about the sales, or if it's with your family. But it's still valuable. It still makes sense to try to do it. And it really does make every conversation better. You learn more, you have more trust, you maintain relationships. In fact, relationships get stronger. Not being outcome-based is a game changer.